Some of you may know this, some of you may not, but Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was a huge part of my childhood and like so many other childhoods. And anytime new toys, new figures, new collectors kind of come out with Power Rangers, I usually get very excited. Now, when Hasbro first announced that they were teaming up with Playmates, I wasn't at all thrilled with that idea because Playmates generally makes a lot of kid toys. I thought this would pretty much signal the end of Power Rangers, but I wanted to at least give it a shot. And I gotta be honest, as of very recently, I think I'm officially out on Playmates making Power Ranger figures. The optimism for me is dead and gone, and I kind of want to go through from the beginning and now to the very end, how we got here and versus where we are now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Figure Bros. My name is Philip, and today I want to do a little bit of a different video for you guys. I kind of want to rant and review what's going on with Playmates and Power Rangers and how this could pretty much put a nail in the coffin for a very beloved franchise. Now, real quick, before we get into this, please do me the big favor, hit the like button. If you're new, consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to also hit the notification bell so you guys never miss when Jared or I drop a video. Jared and I will be doing a, hopefully we'll be doing some more videos like this where we're going to be doing a lot of rant reviews, kind of going through all this type of stuff. We got another video we're cooking in the works for you guys, so again, if you like this type of content, want to see more, just let us know by simply hitting that thumbs up button. So I want to talk about Hasbro and Playmates today, and I want to talk about, like I said, how we got here. So what happened in the very beginning? There was a little bit of some optimism in the air, but I was very skeptical. And then some of you probably have already seen the silhouettes, which we will talk to. They look awful. Playmates does not look like they're going to be doing any kind of justice for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it does look like this could be a nail in the coffin for a very beloved franchise. But at the end of this video, I also want to talk about two people that may actually be able to step up, because of course with some failure does come with opportunities, right? If Playmates just absolutely fumbles this and just does a horrible job with Power Rangers, there is some opportunity for another company to just kind of swoop in and pick them right up and just say, hey, listen, we'll do a better job than this. There's already one company that's already doing this, and I'm hoping that they kind of just take the ball and run with it, and that's Mezco. Talk a little bit more about that in later of the video, but first I want to talk about how we even got here. So this right here was the Hasbro and Playmates pretty much agreeing. This came back in April 22nd, 2024. I won't go into too much detail. You guys can read it on your screen, but I'll kind of like summarize it. But I want to talk about specifically this right here, this end part right here that just says, we are honored to work with Hasbro on the reimagination of this iconic franchise. This is, of course, Playmates talking here, of this iconic franchise toy line. For a long time, fans and new generation of children, Playmates and Hasbro speak the same toy language. They do not. And share a passion for Power Rangers, a multi-generational phenomenon that has stood the test of time. So this was Playmates, Senior Vice President of Marketing. That little end part right there, the generation of children. Again, that was like, first of all, a little strike one for me where I was like, okay, they don't understand it. Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin, yeah, of course, kids do somewhat collect it, but it's really the adults, the kids that, you know, back then, back in the 90s, now have become adults. Those are the ones that are spending the money for these figures. And I thought Hasbro had a golden opportunity. They didn't even need Playmates' help for this, but it does seem like Hasbro is shelling out all their IPs. They're giving out all the franchise names to a bunch of people. It does seem like Hasbro is something else Jared and I want to talk about, but it does seem like Hasbro may be getting out of the toy business. There's a very good video out there. I'll probably put a link down below in the description box. I forgot from what YouTube channel, but they kind of talk about how Hasbro is pretty much trying to get out of the toy business. This is why you're seeing them already sell off all their franchise names, right? They acquired all these names, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Power Rangers, Marvel, and now it seems like they're trying to just giving that away to let other people do the work for them, or they pocketed some of that money by just being basically partners. So when they first announced this, I was very skeptical. I didn't even know who Playmates were. Of course, you look into them, they do make a lot of kids toys, so I was like very skeptical. Of course, they announced it back in 2025, but then Playmates drops this. Now, this was Playmates' statement, and this came after the original statement with Hasbro, the joint statement basically with Hasbro. And then I think it was like a month later, maybe even less time than that, Playmates drops this for us speaking about Power Rangers. It says, Playmate Toys, meanwhile, is relaunching versions of its 1988 and 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to mark the 40th anniversary of the comic book release. It's also recently signed a license agreement for Power Rangers collectibles, marking the first time Hasbro has licensed out the brand since acquiring it from Saban Entertainment in 2018. Playmates Power Rangers will launch at retail in fall 2025, so we're coming up on that here as this year is already flying by. Will be available in children's and collector versions and feature well-constructed figures at a better price than other collectible companies, including Hasbro. This was the VP of marketing. So we get the senior vice president, then we get the vice president of marketing making statements. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this did come after the statement from the senior vice president. Again, you guys can comment down below if I'm wrong about that. I couldn't exactly find a timeline, but I thought my memory served me that this came after their joint statement with Hasbro. I could be wrong. Adults don't age out of toys anymore because they can celebrate their fandom by putting the collectibles in their office or their home, something they didn't do 20 to 30 years ago, Trojan said. Whatever came out in the 1980s, 1990s is still valuable. There used to be years where Walmart wouldn't talk about collectibles and toys, were a lost leader with a small section during the holidays. Now they talk about it and have a section dedicated to the collectible category. Now, when this statement came out, I was like, all right, this is where optimism came in, right? You first hear about the news they're joining with, you know, Hasbro to make basically what sounds like going to be kid toys. You look into Playmates, you're like, eh. This statement came out, there was definitely some optimism. Now, what came out right after this, and this is where we get to the not so optimistic side of things, was this. This is where I was like, oh boy, this does not look good. These are the silhouettes for the Power Rangers Reignition. Now, hearing both those statements, this is why I played both those statements to you and why I kind of read it to both of you guys. Both statements, right? From the senior vice president to the VP, right? One talks directly about the children's toys. If you go back to the senior vice president, he pretty much talks about how, you know, the children toys and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, that joint statement from Hasbro is like, not really good. The VP statement, though, there's optimism. So you have one statement basically is they're sensing some optimism. The other one, not so much. If this is what we're going to get from Playmates, this right here, I'm telling you guys right now, this will pretty much signal the nail in the coffin for a very beloved franchise. Now, these silhouettes look horrible. I'm guessing right here, you got the Blue Ranger. Here's the Red Ranger, which I don't even know what this is behind him. It almost looks like, I'm guessing that's going to be the blaster, right? The Power Blaster. But it almost looks like actually the head of the White Ranger, Saba. So, I mean, I don't know, again. And these silhouettes, they look awful, right? They look single jointed. They look like, it looks horrible. There's nothing here that inspires some confidence right here. So, and the worst part is too, is let me see if I can actually make this a little bit better for you guys. Actually, let's go ahead and squeeze in the comment section. I kind of pulled it out so we can get a good look at the silhouettes here, right? The Black Ranger, Green Ranger, Yellow Ranger. The Yellow Ranger looks, I don't know, whoever's posing these needs to be fired right away. Just look at the comment section though, right? Like, woohoo, these look terrible just by their shadows. Being Playmates worries me that the Rangers may never stand again. If Teenage Mutant Turtle grade figures is what's coming, exactly. I'm scared these will have strange proportions and nearly overly muscular, but hoping for the best. I wish they would do unmorphed Rangers. These silhouettes do not look promising. Wasn't a fan of the Bandai version. This is pretty much looks worse than them. Yes, we don't need buff Rangers. I'll tell you guys right now, these silhouettes make Super 7 look good. And Super 7 is dog shit. These look like, they make Super 7 look good. They make Super 7 look like SH Figwarts. This is not good, and this could very well be a nail in the coffin for a beloved franchise. Now, I told you in the beginning of the video, with failure comes some opportunity. If Playmates absolutely fumbles this, it would not surprise me at all to just Hasbro basically pull the plug after a year or two, maybe 5 years, less than that. Or if nobody just buys them, they can just pull the plug even earlier. I don't know what their agreement is behind the scenes. Nobody really knows if it's a 5-year contract, a 1-year contract. Nobody knows. But it would not surprise me if this fails, that Hasbro can just be like, all right, we tried this. It ain't working. Who could do a better job? Well, Mezco is the first one that comes to my mind because they already have completed the core Rangers with the 5-core set coming out, I believe, this month. I know people are starting to get them in hand. At least they were already charged for it. They should be getting it either the end of this month or the beginning of March. I myself would definitely pre-order them. I'm very excited for that one. If the Green and White Ranger were any indication, it looks like those Rangers could be the end-all be-all Power Ranger set. So what I absolutely love for Mezco, just kind of turn around, just say, you know what? The Rangers were such a success, we're going to do the villains, we're going to do other brands, we're going to do Wild Force, we're going to do Space Force, we'll do the movie versions. Like, they could very well be that one where they just take the ball and kind of run with it, right? Like, I would love to see them do that because I do think Power Rangers and Mezco is kind of a match made in heaven, with their number one thing being they do an excellent job with their cloth goods. So I would love to personally just see Mezco kind of take the ball and just run with it. The other two companies that come to my mind immediately are Jada Toys and Storm Collectibles. Now, Storm Collectibles very recently showed off a very well-articulated Baki for, I believe it was $25. So I would love to see a fully articulated figure like that for Power Rangers. Jada Toys is also another great brand that's also starting to experiment with cloth goods and other stuff like that. So I would love to see Jada Toys even take the ball and run with it, because if this is what we're gonna get from Playmates, and you could just see like more people's reactions, like, I mean, just go through, like, there's 58 comments. If we were to continue to go through these comments, I'm sure, like, look at that. I mean, just yeah, make it stop. Pass. I'm not starting over for a third time. I agree. Just do Turbo Rangers so I can wrap this all up. 6-inch scale question mark. This will scale with the old Bandai toys. Woo. Already can tell you these figures are going to be awful. Like, if you just read this comment section over from Facebook, it does not look good at all. Stop. He's dead already. I mean, it just gets worse and worse for Playmates. So I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel about this down below in the comment section. I kind of wanted to come on here and do a quick rant, do a quick talk about this, because again, Power Rangers, especially Mighty Morphin, was all my childhood. I mean, right behind me. This is why it breaks my heart too that Hasbro just kind of gave up on this, because they started making some of the props and the replicas. They started making the weapons, the helmets, and with the passing away of Jason David Frank, God rest his soul, I thought it was a great opportunity for Hasbro to do one last thing for all the fans. And that was to turn around and just say, hey, before we hand this off to Playmates or anybody else, we're going to print and make Green Ranger helmets for you guys. And they could have slapped his face on there. It would have been a great thing for the fans. They didn't do it. They handed it off. I can't believe Hasbro did it. It was sick. I was sick to my stomach when I saw that, because I really thought the Lightning Collection was at least decent at best. And if they were going to go through all of them, it was worth sticking it out. But they didn't. They handed it off to somebody else. And this ain't looking too good. But you guys sound off in the comment section. If you like this video, found it informative, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.